Welcome to Amazon Nomads. I'm here with the legendary Seth and Thomas Parkinson. What we're going to be discussing is what Tom will present to you now, because I can't remember, we just discussed it 2 minutes ago.
Fantastic. I love it how Seth is legendary and I'm just Thomas Parkinson. So thank you so much. I've gone down in the opinions here. So what are we going to be talking about? So number one, reprices. Number two, I'd like to talk through about something we're doing in our business, process driven, which is about trying how we're learning to improve to get more confident in buying and go deeper. And then number three, Seth would like to talk about travel and more particularly around Amex points, taking advantage of them around, and then we'll kind of allude into like where we're traveling next, and then do that. So yeah, fantastic.
Tom, do we have a new sponsor for this Amazon Nomads podcast?
Why? Because I'm wearing a ClickFunnels t-shirt.
Yeah.
No, I just get them free, so I fucking no language. I just bought them.
I want free tickets to events now.
I've got a hoodie. I've got like hoodie, loads of t-shirts and everything else. So yeah, right. They're not sponsors. I don't even use their software.
Oh, okay.
I think it's good. Like but we're so integrated into WordPress right now. Like it takes 2 months to move over, and for what benefit? None.
Right. So we jump into the repricing.
Go.
Don't know who's aware, but there's been a massive rave about the repricing software called SellerSnap. It is something that I do personally use, and I've had crazy good success with it. Why? Because most reprices will price down. This one will somehow, I don't know how, I'll just say that, will get you the buy box at a much higher price. And even if it only gets you the buy box at a much higher price, like 15, 30 minutes, if that's selling 1,000 units per month, then you're going to sell units at that price. Tom, you've recently started testing out SellerSnap. How is it going for you?
Wow, that's a very nice introduction. So I'd say good. I'd say like the first few days were a bit up and down. Like I was kind of like, okay, fine. So we tweaked some things, but I've been impressed, and I think at the end of the day, the numbers talk. You know, we've seen probably a straight 10-15% increase in ROI on the same products, if that makes sense, which is quite interesting.
Can I just stop you there for a second, please?
Go.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but when you say a 10 to 15% ROI increase, you're saying from a 20% ROI it goes to like a 22-23% ROI?
No, I'm talking like a 20 to a 35.
What?
Yeah, like that much. It's like, whoa. And I will just be a bit careful. And the reason is we've only been running it for like 6 days, if that makes sense now. And the one thing I'm just aware of is the fact that, so when you do not, like when we did other repricing, say for example, Be Cool, we'd have a series of rules which we move through. So they generally kind of have min-maxes and you operate within them. Whereas within SellerSnap, we've just said min-max is global, and basically the min's like 5% and the max is like whatever it thinks, which is a much higher max. And the net result is we're just like, you do your thing. If you think you can get a higher price, fantastic. So the one thing which we've probably seen is that products maybe that wouldn't have sold earlier on because they've probably got more breathing room are now able to sell. But also as well, we have seen an increase in it. So it could be the case that they're selling all our new products. I'd like to think we're getting much better at purchasing and sourcing, and we are. But the one thing which I have seen, and I'll share it with you because I shared it with Gavin, I thought it was quite interesting, is there was a time where one of our products was selling for £300, and then all of a sudden it bumped it up to 450, which you're like, what the hell? But we still had the buy box. Now, admittedly, we lost the buy box straight away, and then it came straight back down again. But what was interesting was the repricer just went crazy, took it up high, and it kept the buy box. And I'm not saying, obviously, that's not the repricer keeping the buy box, but it estimated what it could be and hit it to that number, and voila, we did it. And I've seen it quite a lot of times whereby it has pushed it. But I still, I'm still analyzing it, I'm still looking at it, and I do think the real fundamental test will be what's your results going to be 30 days later. Like you can't just say like, oh, because it could just be we sold some the new products and they were good products and we got a great ROI. I think it's going to be a couple, like weeks down the line. But the price on it is, we were paying $50 a month for the previous one, and now we're paying $500 a month. But it's definitely like it's made the money relative to what it had done if it continues the way it is in the ROI improvement. I've liked that, and we still need to improve it. And for example, one of the things Gavin recommended, like a setting. we did that, and then all of a sudden overnight everything went to max price and just like price alert everything because of the types of products we're selling. So we had to be a bit more careful. But I think at a fundamental level is that when we think about all these tools within our business, is we just want them to work. We don't want to have to get into them and start like really doing micromanagement. And like all my previous reprices, I had to do a lot of micromanagement. We've even hired someone full time to do micromanagement. And like I do think repricing is a really key part, but like we just don't really have time, and hiring people can be a nightmare. So like so far I'm really happy, and I think it's probably going to be something that we stick with, and it's going to be something. And I even went back to SellerSnap and I said to them, the results so far in the US are really impressive. I'm really happy. There's still some tweaking that needs to be done, but we're also closing down the UK business. And right now, I still have £250,000 worth of stock in the UK business that we're going to close down. And I'd be and by the way, the sales are going like this, literally falling off a cliff, or like going down, because they are. We're closing the business down. You know, we're not putting new stock in, but we still got £250,000 worth of stock. And I was like, I would really like to try SellerSnap on that, because if it can go back up again and really improve the profit margin, I'd be like, this is going to be a really interesting point, because we're not putting any new stock in there. That would be a very direct comparison to like all the good stock was sold, now the shit's left. Can SellerSnap turn that situation around? So I'm going to try that next week and see how that works as well. So yeah, that's my update on it. So I'm pretty happy with it. Thoughts?
I think you mentioned like two really interesting things there, and I think it's really important to understand. And the first one is that the only thing we care about is the results.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're like, yeah, I want full control over this repricer, and you create your own like extremely complicated process for how you reprice. But then you use this repricer which you don't do all this complicated stuff, but you get better results. Like I understand we want control, but at the end of the day, it's results that drive the business, not how much we want to control it.
100%.
The other thing that you said was that you got your money back basically in the increased sales. So yes, the price point is very expensive, but how much money are you making from this repricer, and does the repricer pay for itself? Because as the SellerSnap people say themselves, you need to make $16 per day profit extra for this to be worth it. Any addition is a massive bonus. And from my perspective, I think the UI is very clean to understand. So if I'm going to hand this over to a VA to manage or to create some views for replenishments, I think that's a fairly easy thing to do.
Yeah,
because it's very intuitive UI.
I think the UI good. It's quite simplistic, and I quite like that. I think it's fine. I found it to be a bit slow at times. I have a lot of spinning circles, but like I agree. I think you can create some really good views from it. I think that's going to help VAs in regards to, going into like doing reordering, and understanding that. And I'm still using the basic version. You're using the advanced version. So yeah, so far really happy. I'd be very interested to see where it goes, the opportunity, and definitely at the end of the day, like, don't get me wrong, while I like to have control, at the end of the day, I just want the results. And if I can get the results without half the work, I'm much happier with that. Like, because we really want to be sitting on a beach earning the money, not working our asses off to earn a little bit more. Like, I'd rather lose 1 percentage point and have less, 10 hours a week to spare.
Tom, you just mentioned that you had a VA doing repricing. Does this VA still do repricing? How are they involved now with SellerSnap?
My God, I love Gavin's questions. He's like an interviewer, isn't he?
Yeah, I was going to ask that. Stole my question.
Normally it's very casual, but today it's like, but Tom, you've asked this question. I feel that there's going to be if you want the same results as Tom, use my affiliate link down below. Gavin will obviously put that in. And I think as well, he's saying if you do use his affiliate link, he might help set it up with you for a free call. So sometimes he does that.
1 hour free call.
Throw him under the bus there. Long story short is we let her go when we let the UK business go, because there wasn't going to be, it was making an improvement, but let's put it this way. I hired someone full time at the same price as SellerSnap, and they got maybe half the results of SellerSnap. I think that's a good soundbite.
So VAs can't do everything then. VAs can do a lot, but not everything.
Yeah, and by the way, like VAs have to go home, they have to finish work, they have weekends, they have holidays, and at the end of the day, I think I read it years ago. It was like, if you want to do something, first of all, try and automate it. Like, the last thing you do is hire someone, because it's really hard to manage, but you should try and do everything else before that. I look at this, and we'll talk about it in regards to later on in my process, what I'm talking about. But I do think that, yes, these tools are expensive, but my God, when you're doing 7 figures, to spend $55,000, $60,000 a year on is that right? No, it's like $6,000 a year on a repricer. It's like nothing. My God, that's a VA.
I think we forget how important repricing is as well, to be honest.
They
Like, we
are.
all don't want to pay a lot for reprices, but your business runs off of a repricer.
There is
But
one.
that is a lot of money for anyone who's not doing like
Yes.
mid
So there's a really
figures,
good.
really.
There's a good question here. Watching is like, what is the monthly revenue you think someone should be doing before they consider upgrading to this? Like, if you've just started, people are obviously going to be considering this, but I would definitely not say do not buy this if you've just started last month. It's not worth it. What's the revenue? Let's define that. We can give people a guidance.
I always
And
say
you need a lot of
60K
SKUs, I think.
There's two scenarios in my head: 60K plus and a lot of SKUs, as Seth said. Then there's also the 25K where you can lock it in at $250 for 6 months, but only if you have like a massive excess of capital and a mentor and you plan to move quick. So you just want to take advantage of it.
So if we define that, you're saying, go on, Seth.
No, I was going to say also, when you're starting out, you should probably be looking at your listings regularly. Like, I would say daily, just so you understand the market and like why prices move and how they move and what happens when more FBA sellers go on and what about FBM sellers, stuff like that. So if you just give off your responsibility to a repricer from day one, you're not really going to understand the business as well, I don't think. And that's especially true of books. I'm not as sure with regular OA, but it must be still relevant.
So the question I would ask is, so if we define, we're saying, Gavin's saying minimum 6,000 a month, is that right in sales? 60,000 a month.
Yeah.
That's quite significant. I reckon you could probably do it on a lot less than that. If you're working on a 10% margin, and you're like, let's just do some simple math. Let's say, for example, you're doing $10,000 in stock sales per month. So it's probably 20,000 in sales. That'd be right. So 10,000. If you can get a 5 percentage point increase in your ROI, so I'll just do some math. So $10,000. Let's say, for example, you're running at a 20% ROI right now. You're doing 2,000, and then if you're going to add another 5 percentage point, you're now on 2,500. So like even at 20,000 a month sales, if it just gives you a 5% increase in ROI, you would make it. And like, by the way, like I said, we've gone from like a 20, sometimes like 22, 23, up to like 30, 35.
That's so insane.
So that's 20% ROI. That's 20,000 a month. So I say I would probably say if you're at 20,000 a month, maybe give it a test. If you can see that increase and you're getting more than, and by the way, you're getting more than, like a 5 percentage point increase in your ROI on average, fine. Like that breaks even.
So they do a free trial?
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's also the accelerator pack, as they call it. So if you do under 25K a month, you can lock in $250 for 6 months.
Yeah, so you only need a 2.5% increase in your ROI at 20,000 and it will cover itself, which I think it would make.
I'm really intrigued by what you've both been saying, that it's a bit more set and forget, which obviously my brain is tingling when I'm hearing that because we spend so much. Yeah, I'm sick of repricing. I'm sick of telling my repricing VA how it all works, and you're not really sure if she's actually doing the job exactly like you want. So I'd much rather have a machine do it better. But the problem with books is that you'll often have listings where there's more than 20 FBA offers, right? And we know for a fact that repricers can't see past that 20th offer. So I wonder how SellerSnap deals with that. Do you know? Is that a bit too technical a question?
Good but cool.
Yeah, because I'm very intrigued. Because if I don't,
so what exactly are you expecting to happen if there's more than 20 sellers?
Well, it's just that the API, the repricer cannot see what the other 20, that any above 20. So the 21st FBA seller could be doing at whatever price. So you can't see past that. So it can be a pain, because then what happens is that if you've got a maximum price at $100, your repricer might shoot up to 100, even when the lowest offers are like 30, just because the repricer goes a bit mad. And we have lots of controls to stop that from happening, but it still happens when you've got thousands of books and stuff. So I don't know if SellerSnap.
And are you matching the buy box? Or are you matching the lowest FBA? What exactly are you matching there?
Well, we're always matching the lowest FBA. So whether that's the buy box or not, usually it's the buy box, the used buy box, obviously. But we have to do lots of minimum maximums to avoid this problem from happening, especially when Amazon comes in. You often see a lot of used prices above Amazon. So do you not set minimums and maximums for SellerSnap? Do you not need to?
Yeah.
No, we do.
So what part of?
I think you could just make it dynamic though.
It's less work.
You set min maxes, but generally speaking, we do what's known as like a min max over time, if that makes sense. And like generally, it's kind of like match the buy box, isn't it? Whereas what you're seeing with SellerSnap is like the case, or what I say I'm seeing is like if the buy box now is 20, most of the prices would hit 20. Whereas what we're seeing is SellerSnap might price us at 22 and we're still getting sales. Or when we get the buy box at 22, it will then push us up to 400. We still get you still get it. Like there is one thing which I would just kind of say like across all of this, and this is like I'd love to get your thoughts. When we come to repricing, there's an element of the competition and their stock levels. I.e., like if the competitor's got like 2 stock and it's selling 10 units per month, you'd be like, look, I'm happy to wait a week and then the price will go back up to a lot higher. And I don't think any repricer can really see that. So I think there is still, this is something I thought about developing. It's something whereby you can either alert users to say your price right now is too low. If you held out one more week, you would get much higher ROI. Or perhaps maybe, and then an iteration of that would be like you feed the min maxes automatically. Or basically what you're doing is you're pushing the min slightly higher so that you don't allow the price to go down. I still think there's a really good like opportunity there for a bit of software to work in tandem with a repricer or maybe a user to alert them of these problems, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's a good show, yeah. Can you create a view though for that in SellerSnap where you look at
No, and the reason why you can't is because no software by Amazon is allowed to scrape the stock levels. It's against the API. It's against the terms and conditions of Amazon.
So SellerSnap would have to. Yeah, SellerSnap would have to like integrate with Keeper, and then that would be really expensive for SellerSnap to pay for the Keeper's API.
But I don't think Keeper doesn't tell you the stock levels through the API connection.
Yeah, they do it via scraping, which obviously is.
But they don't pass it out through the API connection.
Oh, okay.
You can do it through the Chrome extension, but not through the API, so you have to scrape it yourself. So what you're really looking at is using a repricing tool, which then basically knows your buy box, or doesn't even really know your buy box, just says like, look, right now you're priced at $20. If you like, this guy, the next seller is at $26. If you just wait 2 days, you're going to get an extra $6 profit or sale revenue. Like that's you don't even need to integrate with your SPA API connection. That's just an external bit of software that can look at that and scrape your own website and scrape the stock counts. Ironically, we already do all of this within FastTrack FBA, but we just haven't built anything to do that. So I think there's a good argument to say it's something that we could build that would basically just ping Gavin a Slack message and say, hey, by the way, if you just hold your price for 3 days, you're going to make an extra $50. You're like, cool, thank you very much. And you could do the inverse, whereby this price is declining, the stock's going up, you want to get out now.
Yeah, that would be so good. It'd be like BuyerBot Pro, but RepriceBot Pro.
Buying the domain name now.
Yeah.
Gavin?
Well,
no, I'm checking SellerSnap to see if they have anything for like
stock.
Account velocity, but I don't think they do, no.
Because you can't
send me your affiliate code, Gav, after the call, and I will sign up because it sounds like I've at least got to test the water with it.
You've got to test it,
even though I've only just started using Channel Max, but Channel Max hasn't been. It's good, but it's not given me enough of an increase over B Call for me to be like, oh, I should keep this for long term. I'm up for trying.
Isn't the UI for that absolutely disgusting?
It's disgusting, but it's fast. It's really fast. Yeah. There's no whirly balls like Tom was saying.
I get whirly
balls, and I love that because I don't mind if it's a bit ugly. I'm all about pace and efficiency.
But that's not efficient for your VAs though. You might be tech savvy, but your team is not.
No, well, I've taught my repricing VA and she loves it now. So it's all about the marketing, how it all. I've just sold it to her. But yeah, they could improve their sales by making it look a bit sexier.
They could call it Channel Max AI. Just make it sexier. Well, fucking Tesla, Nvidia's gone over $1 trillion, I think it is today, because of the whole AI revolution.
Wow!
Look at the share price; it's $1 trillion company. And if you look at the share price in the last 6 months, it's doubled. I think it is. Don't quote me, because Nvidia's graphics cards are all needed for the AI kind of computations.
Oh yeah, AI is wild. I've been going.
It's like Bitcoin.
Yeah, I've been going mad on AI.
We're buying the wrong.
37% year to date.
Crazy. Can we move on to my other? Or anything else about repricing before we move on?
No, well, unless Gavin's going to say, I'm intrigued about your new process, Tom.
Gavin's going to put his affiliate link down below. If you don't want to use his affiliate link, you use mine. Give me a shout. And if you don't want to use mine, you can give Seth a shout and probably use his. Who does it? Hashtag influencers got to get paid somehow. Not getting monetization from this YouTube channel yet.
Actually, I am going to release this one a bit earlier because this is a lot of useful content on SellerSnap.
No, release them in order, Gavin.
SellerSnap's big at the moment.
No, this one's going to have like a one-off. I've released up to episode 11, but we still have like 8 more episodes.
Release the next 8.
They're being edited, dude. Calm down, Tom.
That's cool. Stop doing this one. It's fine. In order, Gavin. In order. Right. So the next one I want to talk about is at a fundamental level. When I talk to a lot of sellers, we look at my Amazon UK business. We had a really big team. We were buying everything, but what we weren't doing was going deep. So what we were doing is we were very busy people, but we weren't probably making as much money as we could. And the net result was that what I noticed was that we should be going deeper on certain products or buying more of them. But when I say deeper, what do I really mean? Spending more. So if you talk about like spend per VA per week, for example, we like strategically, when I look at that in my business, is about we want to be spending more per VA per week. So one of the areas that I really looked at was the ability to go deeper onto a product and to learn from that mistake, or learn like when should we have gone deeper, when shouldn't we have gone. So what we're doing now is I basically just bought my team, just my purchasers, a premium subscription to Loom. And we're now recording. It takes about 3 minutes to record all the data points, but we record an entire walkthrough of the analysis of each product that we buy. And we basically just kind of quickly jump over the keeper charts and all different parts of it. So it's on the recording. And then the vision is that in about a month or 2 months' time, when they sell or they go wrong, we can look back at the recording and say, what did we see at that time that we should have realized that is now correlated to how the product's gone, like what's gone wrong now or gone well. That's a really important point. So that's my vision. That's the reason behind it, so we can learn from our data and become more data-driven. But I just want to get your thoughts. Am I being stupid? Am I wasting my time? Would you do anything better? Would you improve upon it? Gavin?
I would say, why not get me involved in that? That's my strength there, Tom.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, why not have a bunch of ASINs that you send to me and I do a Loom video for you as well?
Yeah, fantastic.
Like, we have units that are just like 1,000 plus units. We've sold 600 units already. Like, I think because the way we do it is that we do a shotgun approach. We go as wide as possible.
Yep.
And then we collect data, and then we start going very deep on the good products.
So here's a question for you. Let's say, for example, you do a massive shotgun approach, and then some products sell really well. Like what does that review process look like for the products that sell really well? Like, cool, you've done it. These 6 have done really well. What are you looking at on that review process to say buy more? Define it.
So we're trying to set this up in SellerSnap, where we're setting up a view where we can see the sales velocity of the items.
Yep.
But usually I always pick up on it just by seeing STK opening the product. And then it says like on the integration, right, between SaaS and STK, like first sale, last sale. If anything's like quite a big number, that's fine. Or the last 7 days on STK. But I think in the long term, we want to move that specifically to SellerSnap. Because SellerSnap has a lot of views that you can use, like revenue, sales in the last 7 days, return rate percentages. So we can we can do all of that in SellerSnap, and that's what I want to move to. But it's like, yes, we do the shotgun approach, but equally there's an opportunity cost of doing that if something is good, and that's where your market knowledge comes into play, right? If I'm sourcing something like beauty and the product matches exactly, then I might be more inclined to just buy 500 units or spend like a few grand on it. But I try not to go over like 2 or 3 grand per ASIN unless I have a lot of data, except one of our recent wholesale orders is about $8,000 and we bought like 400 units. But that doesn't but that's because the data makes sense. But if you want, if you're trying to get your team to do this, I would just leverage myself, and possibly Seth, because Seth is very good at keeper too. But you have the friends who can cut this time way short, and we can do the videos for you. So
yeah,
that means you do what we think.
I think the question, I definitely I will take advantage of that, Seth, looking at you as well. You're a bit bored right now, so I think the question comes is when I look at business, holistically look at business, I look at the ability of us to do well in a systematic way. So yeah. I think you're right. We can shortcut it with you, definitely. But my worry comes is if we don't build that knowledge in internally, then when you become too busy or we can't utilize it, then we don't have the ability to continue.
You're misunderstanding here, Tom. You're misunderstanding completely, I think. The reason why I'm saying that is that we give the videos so you guys can learn.
Yeah.
It's about me me showing you how I think or showing you how Seth think and the things that we check
Yep.
that allow us to go deep on the product.
Yep.
So like where your team misses it or doesn't look at it properly, they can see what we do. So for example, you get your team to send you a Loom video, and then you ask me to send you one, and then you can compare, and then you know like what you're looking at, what we're looking at, what the difference is in buy quantity and why.
Okay, cool. So if I just find that, go on, Seth, you saying something?
I think it's a great idea, just going from back to where you started, but that's going to be quite a lot of looms then, right?
Yeah.
Like, just how many looms are we talking per day?
Like 10, 12, 15, I don't know, per saucer, per saucer.
So you're getting every saucer and every person
No.
to watch all 10.
No, we're not even watching. Fuck that. Sorry, language. We're just recording them.
Got it.
So it's literally like,
and then go back to them if it's become bad or extra good. Okay, yeah. I get you. Okay, yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, I can't believe you didn't have Loom Premium before. I've had Loom Premium for ages because it makes sense. It's only like $10 a month, right?
Yeah, we just didn't do that process.
Yeah, we do similar thing. Well, every team meeting, I get my team to just go over 3 random books that they've bought, and then we look at them all together and we just comment about whether we think that was a good buy, bad buy, average buy, how many we should have bought, like should we buy it in future, that sort of stuff. And that's been really beneficial. Like I've only been doing that recently, the last couple of months, and I've just noticed every single person in the team is buying better books based, I'm pretty sure, off those meetings, because we're all collaborating about what's good and what's not and why we're buying it. So I think anything that enhances that, it increases the wisdom and the knowledge of the whole team, and it also helps the sources know what I want and what you want and what we want as a business to grow. So that's been phenomenal for us. And then I record that as well, so that if anyone new comes on the team, they can go back and watch those team meetings to see, what do we need? What do we need to buy? What do we focus on? So yeah, I think it's a great idea, especially since you're not asking your team to watch all of them, because I thought that would be a bit daunting, because no one wants to spend loads of time watching
videos, yeah.
Unless they're just starting out. That's another thing that you can ask new sources who join to like look at those, right? Because you'll know the eager ones will actually look at them and ask questions and stuff like that. So it's almost a good test to see who's more interested in the job.
Yeah, I think yeah, like Gavin, you do really good. What are you checking on Keeper that allow you to go deep? Like, what are the indicators? So definitely learning that. But I'm also instead of trying to say like this is the indicators right now, I'm trying to say like we have a systematic process whereby like every week we take the top 3 performers, we review the videos and say what are the indicators from those, and also we take the bottom 3 performers and what are the indicators on those, and what are we going to improve? And it's like constantly resharpening the axe. That's a really important point. So yeah, we're only recording what we're seeing.
Let me have a look at the top 3 and the bottom 3. I'll be curious.
Oh, I haven't got them yet. We haven't but once they come through, we only started this week. But I think you're right. Like the idea is, and by the way, like Seth, we've been doing the same thing. So I've been getting like every day, every single sourcer has to go through one product that was sold, and they have to say basically it's got to be a good deal or a bad deal, i.e. like it did really well or it didn't. They've got to draw a line on the graph to say at what point did we buy it, and it's got to show SAS in the graph, and then they've got to say like what happened, why was it a good deal, why was it a bad deal, and they've got to share that into a group chat. So we're sharing that all the time. And then they've got to share one opportunity deal whereby they didn't submit it, and they've got to explain why, like what's the thing stopping them. So we're just trying to like so it's really 2 graphs a day I want everyone to share of what they're finding, and that's like a reflection piece, and then something where we could do more. And I think my real question comes back to the reason why we're doing the video one is because I'm trying to understand what are the data points that we should be looking at and continuing refining that data point and analysis in regards to going deeper. That's my point.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. We've been doing that with books that you're hesitant to buy. I've actually got a channel in Slack called Hesitant to Buy, and then sources will post on that, and then we'll give feedback of whether you should have bought it and why, and if you were cautious, you had reason to because. And I think that's a great idea on the orders as well. That's what I'm definitely going to implement that now. So I'm glad you mentioned that, because my team don't look at our orders enough. They spend all their time sourcing. They're not really looking at orders and obviously you want to see your wins and also your losses. So I'm going to implement a Slack channel that's like orders, and then I'm going to get everyone on the team to do exactly that. Like mention one order you got in the last day, and then
every
just
day
post a graph, and then that's going to be interesting for me to see and the rest of the team, and it also spur them on probably if they've like made $50 profit on a book. If almost like adds slight competitive edge to it.
Yeah, I think like we're trying to like just number one learn from our mistakes. And the problem about Amazon is you buy today and you either learn within 2 weeks or you don't learn for 3 months, and it's very easy to turn a blind eye. So like we're quite like I'm really trying to build up good systems. And again, like when we come back to purchasing, like you talk about it going deep, I want it to be like a flow diagram, like. Do this, if this, then do this, if this, and do it, because that's what you're doing in your head, but you do it through experience and knowledge, and you can pretty much understand. But I want to be able to say, like, by the way, we're going to miss good deals, but follow this flow diagram, and 96% of the time, you're going to get good deals. Like, because then it's just then, by the way, you build a bit of software that copies that flow diagram, and voila, now you can auto-analyze all the deals. But really, you've got to do it manually first.
Seth, maybe that's what we should work on, like deal analysis software. Between us all, we can create some banging software, guys.
Agreed.
We need to create an algorithm for it, like where we check. Then we get them to rank like stock availability on a scale of 1 to 10.
Yeah, because Buybot Pro is...
You can rank websites as well.
You can improve that massively.
We could rank websites too, as like how easy is website to find. That'd be so good for beginners.
Now we're just making more competition for ourselves. Yeah. Right. Oh, yeah. Move on. Anything else we do about travel? I need to finish a hard stop in the hour.
Yeah. Last 10 minutes.
Zero. Amex.
Right, yeah, well, my question was, so it is 26th of May. The girlfriend and I are going to go back to Mexico in November.
Is she coming?
November?
Yeah, she's coming.
Man.
We're coming, yeah.
You've got like 6 months between now and then. Like, we're going to be bored.
Yeah, so this is the question.
We might be gone.
Yeah, no, it's because... No. It's because her parents are getting remarried.
Yeah.
In late October, so I've got to wait until then. Anyway, no one cares about that.
Why is that back? You can remarry.
That's it.
Yeah. Well, no. Sorry, it's not remarrying. They've been together for 25 years, and they're getting married now this year. So it's all a bit.
Is that still important? They've been together for so long.
You know, you can come over now and then fly back again. They do return flights, you know.
Yeah, but she's got a job and she's got a flat until November. So I can't really just come out, and she can't. So I mean, I could come out, but
you can't. That's a strong word, isn't it? Don't want to is a better word.
Don't want to. Well, long distance relationships.
No, I'm saying you pay. You basically just pay off the flat and say, "Come on." You didn't pay off the flat. You just break the lease, keep the deposit, no problem.
No, actually, sorry, I forgot to mention that I do want to spend summer here because I've got a lot of plans in the diary, and I do want to. I've got a lot booked in. So
go on. So what's the question?
Coming back round to it is that there's like loads of first class flights in the next couple of months, but there's none in November. Is that just because they don't open up, or is that just because people haven't cancelled? They just don't open up.
I don't think they're open yet. Like they wouldn't have released the dates.
There's a few business class, right? So my question is, if I book business class for say 1st November. And then a first class comes up on the 2nd. Can I like swap that?
You can cancel.
You have to cancel it, then rebook.
Yeah.
What? And then do you get refunded the money and the points you paid?
You just lose 25 quid and that's it.
Yeah, but it takes time. Like once you cancel, it'll probably take like a week or so to get your points back, I think.
Mine was instant.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
You've got to call them, haven't you? Which is like the worst thing ever.
You do it You can do it on the website.
Yeah, I couldn't do that. I had to call them. I hated it.
Booking, you do it on the website.
Didn't work for me.
That's what I did. Because I had a first class ticket and a business class ticket for the same day.
Same flight.
I was like, okay, now
really long legs.
Yeah, because I don't want to go business because you guys slag off business. And I wanted to go first because I've got like 700,000 points. So I want to spend them.
700,000. Wow.
Yeah, got quite a lot of points, but haven't spent them for ages, and I can't spend them because there's no first class flight. So do you reckon I should just wait? Because loads will pop up. And I've got the girlfriend checking every day. So
why is it? That's dropping out, isn't it?
Got her on that.
Back.
She's personal PA.
But getting 2 first class tickets on the same flight is quite hard.
Yeah, I've got 2.
Oh, yeah. No.
2 2 is really hard.
There's quite a few I've seen going to Mexico City or Cancun.
Do that then
in like the next few months in June. Well, yeah.
And then go for welcome to Mexico. We'll have a week in Cancun, relax, and then fly to Mexico City and see my friends. She'll love you.
She's got a job though.
Yeah, you can work in Cancun.
I don't think she's an office manager, so I don't think you can just leave the office. It's one of those jobs that you can't.
You're coming over for a week. I thought you were coming over for some time.
Well, yeah, I am. We are. She's going to quit that job by then, but for now, she needs to get paid, right?
Yeah.
Normal people problems that I've got to deal with.
She's going to do online working, I assume, when she comes to Mexico.
She's going to start an OnlyFans or something.
Yeah, fine. Well, Cancun's a perfect place to take photos for OnlyFans. Go to Tulum.
Always a solution.
Exactly.
Tulum is full of OnlyFans.
Yeah, always.
See?
True.
And by the way, Gavin, you
So
can't release this podcast now early because her employers might find out that she's going to be quitting the job.
There we go.
Right. Problem solved?
Yeah, problem solved. Happy with that. Well, I don't think I think we've that's been quite a comprehensive chat, I think. Happy to call it there.
Do we have any other
Shall we?
No. I need to eat my breakfast.
Tom's got to go, and I need to do some more work before it's Friday bank holiday, so I need to get some stuff done before Brewdog. So thanks everyone for watching and listening. Please like, comment, subscribe, ask any questions. Use Gavin's affiliate code for SellerSnap because we'll pop it in the description. But as for this chat, it is over. Ciao for now. We'll catch you in a couple of weeks to talk more Amazon no bad things. Thank you, Thomas Parkinson. Legendary from you. And also Gavin.
Cheers, guys.
Bye.
Ciao.